Hello, YTPC. Wildcat Piper here, coming from the Wildcat Lounge. Getting all situated out here. Hope you guys are having a great evening this Sunday evening. It's been a beautiful weekend here. Done a lot of working. Went in this past Friday night at midnight. Worked till 12. Two days of 12-hour shifts. And so tonight I'm a little tired, but great day at church today, and things are really good, especially the couple of weeks that I've had, and I'll explain that to you here in just a second. I've been drinking some coffee here this evening while I was watching some videos, and I don't generally have an evening coffee, but tonight I thought it would go really well with this cigar. I've taken the wrapper off of it. I've been smoking it for quite a while. And the cigar that I am currently smoking is a Camacho. I love Camacho brand cigars. It's probably in my top 5 as far as brands. It's a Corojo. And I don't know if you've noticed on some of the Camacho brands, but they have a little scorpion on it. And this one is part, I don't know if it's a series or just they started putting it on there as a logo implant. But there's a story behind that. One of the guys that works for Camachos, his name's Carlos. He was in Honduras, I guess, on kind of a sales trip or going down there to work things out there with Camacho, and he's with some of the other Camacho people. And one of the guys, as guys do, and I think you guys have probably been there with me, you'll push somebody, right? Come up on trash cans, you push them in the trash cans. Well, he pushed, a guy named Christian pushed Carlos. Carlos ended up rolling down a hill. Well, in the process of rolling down the hill, he picked up a scorpion in his shorts. You know, are you happy to see me, or is that a scorpion in your pants? Well, what happened was he ended up going to the restroom, and from that came the famous Camacho scorpion. And on this particular wrapper, and there are several others that have that, you have that little picture of that scorpion. And but this is the Corojo. It's kind of maybe a Maduro wrapper or Cameroon, but it is a great cigar. I love the Corojo. I love the Corojos. I love the Camachos. Camachos, Christophs, and the Flatheads are ones I probably smoked the most here recently. But I've graduated, not graduated, but I used to smoke a lot of Partagas and also a lot of what was the other one? I forget. But they were very, very good. It was there. You know, you get that sometimers. But it'll probably come to me in the middle of my my video here. But I hope everybody's doing well. I'm enjoying this cigar, enjoying the coffee, sitting back watching some videos. And after this week, I kind of came up with a theme for our discussion tonight as we go into our Sunday evening chat. And it is the terrible, horrible things that happen in your life that we would call bad news. I kind of call them spices of life. Now, as you all know, and as I know, not all spices are enjoyable. I've had some pretty hot spices, and I've seen videos of people who've had some pretty hot spices. But then there are those spices that help the flavoring of the food, or in our case, in the community, the Perique is kind of the salsa or the spice of the cigar world, and it kind of adds a little bit of spice to it. And when you look back on it, even though it was a difficult thing, you know, you come through it and you think, wow, you know, there were some positive things that I got from that. Now, it's not always a positive event. Matter of fact, most spices of life are not, but it does kind of help you with dealing with some of the terribleness of the news that you might get. About 3 Saturdays ago, I got a call as I was down at work, and it was my wife. My wife's client, she called, said that my wife was sitting there, dizzy, nauseous, her words was, and she's a little lethargic and is not speaking right. Immediately, I thought it was a stroke. Freaked me out a little bit. Told all my co-workers I better get going. I need to take her to the hospital. So off I went, and the good thing about where my wife works, it's right across the street from the hospital. So I got to her. Of course, she was a little nauseated, dizzy, but her face wasn't dropping, so I kind of ruled out, in my unprofessional way, I ruled out the stroke. Didn't really have any of the symptoms that I would think would be associated with that, but nonetheless, I said, let's go to the emergency room and get checked out. So I took her over there, and they did all the tests and everything in the emergency room, and they come back and said, you know what, everything come back fine. And my wife said, I'm still nauseous, and I'm still very dizzy, and so they wanted to keep her overnight for observation. The next day I came in, they said they're going to keep her till Monday so they can run some tests. And they ran some more tests, everything come back fine. They kind of determined from all of that she had a kind of a bout with vertigo. Don't know if you guys have had vertigo before, but it's not a pleasant event. I've had it. It is not very fun. But she got through it, and everything was fine. And then 2 nights later, 3 o'clock in the morning on that Wednesday, she wakes me up. She says, I've been up for an hour. I'm in excruciating pain. I've got a kidney stone. I myself have had 2 kidney stones, and that is not a pleasant event. It's horrible. So back to the emergency room we go, and luckily, now in years past, she's had 3 surgeries for kidney stones. Luckily, with this one, she was able to pass fairly quickly for her. It moved from her kidney to her bladder while we were in the emergency room. So she probably, which was kind of a surprise for us, because I thought for sure, well, they're going to admit her, they're going to have to do a surgery to remove it or whatever they do. And it's never been through that with her, and it's just painful. And so we got through that, and it was just craziness, and just a spice, that adds flavor to your life. Was not fun for neither one of us, because I don't like to see my wife in pain, and I'm sure you guys who have wives and girlfriends probably feel the same way. And so, that was difficult. This past week, I got a call from my, I guess it was my brother, Bearcat Piper. I think he called me. I can't remember who actually told me this, but found out that my sister has breast cancer. And that again, it's that phone call, it's that wake up early in the morning, it's those moments where you think life is good for everyone. Bam, it changes. And she went to the doctor for confirmation, and the doctor confirmed that it was breast cancer. And so that was on Thursday. They had her in the emergency room, in the operating room on Friday. They removed a lump that was less than 1 centimeter. They ran tests for the lymph nodes. There's nothing in the lymph nodes, so they were able to contain it in that. But they are sending it away to check to see if she has to do any chemo or follow up. And bam, another spice of life. Was not great to taste. Was not a fun event, but it was something that adds flavoring to your life. And in the long run, as you look back, as I look back on some of the bad things in my life, it made me a better person, right? So the spice of life, what that it does is it allows the story is coming out of that, and that determines the strength you had, and the result of that is the strength you have coming out of it. And many of you guys and gals can attest to that. Some of you guys have come through so many difficult things. You know, even on here in our community, we've heard about people who've come through some very, very incredible things and change their life. You know, and these events can actually change the complete direction of your life, and it's scary. And and when I found out about that with my sister, it was scary, you know. And she's doing great. I couldn't have been a better outcome for her, I don't think. With someone who has cancer, of course, it could have been a better outcome, and she wouldn't have to have it, right? But she's come through it, you know, and so we just kind of move on through life. You know, it'd be great if we could all just kind of cover up our eyes and plug our ears and live in a cave, right? And not ever have to deal with that, but we're going to deal with it. We're going to have events in our life with our kids or with us, or with our spouses, or if you've got girlfriends or boyfriends, you know, things are going to happen that is at the time a very difficult event. But it's those things, I think, that determine for us how we are able to come through that. Now, hear me when I say this. I'm not trying to downplay cancer, okay? I'm not even trying to downplay kidney stones or anything like that. I'm just simply saying we all face it. We all have different spices that we have to deal with. Some of us are living with some really nasty things, and you guys are the brave ones, you know. And to know that you're able to come through that is just a heroic thing in my eyes. And especially little kids, you know, dealing with cancer, you know, that's a difficult thing, and I'm not trying to downplay that at all. That is horrible, and some of you guys are living that. And so I guess what I am saying is that we all have spices of life. We all face them, and it is important of how we come through it. It's going to change your life. You know, I'm sure my sister's life has changed now, knowing that she deals with cancer for the rest of her life. You know, and hopefully this will be nothing for her, and she'll live a vibrant life like she has. And then we go on. But spices of life, you know. The Tabasco in our life, the things that add flavor, although difficult, they give us a better appreciation of life itself. And those are things I've been thinking about. And you know, leave a comment. Please, if you've thought at any moment here tonight that I have tried to elaborate on cancer and try to say that it is you know, anything but nasty, I humbly apologize, and I would not want to do that. But sometimes you get out here by yourself and you just think, those are things that go through my mind. And if you were sitting here across the table from me, this is what we would be talking about. And it would be great because I could get your input, your experiences back, and that would be great. But listen, you guys have a great night. Blow some smoke rings in the air. Love on your family. But above all, my friends, in the spice and in the calm, be blessed. I'll talk to you soon.